Hello everybody, welcome back to KDP A to Z. Now today I'm on Publisher Rocket and I'm looking at kids activity books. Now you can see here that they are extremely well searched for. They have great earnings. Look at these average monthly earnings for all kids activity books. But you can see here with this red that they are extremely competitive as well. So I want to niche down on those and I'm going to be taking you through my top 10 niches for kids activity books. If we look here on Amazon, you can see why they are so competitive. There's over 50,000 results for kids' activity books. So it is really important if you're making one of these that you niche down, because otherwise you're just not going to be found. There'll be too much competition from other people. So make sure we niche down. When we're looking on Publisher Rocket, it shows us what keywords have been used and looked for, and it shows us how many people have searched for that in that month. And then on this side, we've got the competitive score. Now, our ideal to find a great niche would be where this is green, so it's got a good number of searches, and this is also green, so that it's not as competitive as other subcategories. Now, if you know much about Publisher Rocket, you'll know that that is actually quite difficult to find. But I have managed to find 10 niches that I think are fantastic and are all green. Now, if this is the kind of thing that interests you, do subscribe to my channel, because this is the sort of thing I do all the time. And if you're enjoying the video, be sure to hit the like button as well. So in at number 10, bereavement for kids. Now this one isn't the best search one, that's why I've put it as number 10, but it is searched for an awful lot of the time and it's not as competitive. And as you can see here, we've got some good monthly earnings here. So an activity book around bereavement for kids would be a great seller for you. If we're looking at the competition, you can see why some of these are good books for you. So there's a journal here for kids. This one's making £1,385 per month. Another one here, it's quite an old book, but something very sad happened. This is The Toddler's Guide to Understanding Death. This is making nearly $4,000 a month. And with it not being so competitive, it's a great niche for you. In at number 9, we've got the activity book for autism. Now you can see here, this is searched for a decent number of times every single month, and it's not very competitive at all, making some good monthly average earnings there as well. Let's have a look at the competition. Look at these, some great books here, Autism and Me. This one making over $1,000 every month. These are well worth doing. And if you can make an activity book around autism, you're in with a good shot. In at number 8, we've got the Paper Planes activity book. Now this one has some very decent monthly earnings. Wouldn't be too difficult to make. Both green scores, so a good number of searches and not competitive. So some great ideas here. You could do something like this where you can colour, fold and fly. So colouring in Paper Planes aeroplane book. This one's making nearly $2,000 per month. At number 7, we've got wedding activity books for kids. Now this is an interesting one. It's not something you typically look for as an adult. As a parent, would be a wedding activity book. But if you're the bride and you've invited kids to your wedding, you want something to keep them entertained. So this might explain why it's doing quite well. And you might get some good bulk sales with this as well. So that would drive down your ACOS if you are marketing. Good number of searches there, and it's not competitive. Let's have a little look. So some nice books here, mostly aimed at flower girls, I see, which is interesting. So the wedding day colouring and activity book for kids. This is lovely, these sorts of things. Some of them aren't making a massive amount of money, but being so uncompetitive, if you make a good design, you're in with a good shout there. At number 6, we've got anti-bullying books for kids. This one searched a nice amount of times, not very competitive, but good monthly earnings there. Let's have a look at those. So some good ideas here. There's this one that's nice, anti-bullying book for girls. See, that cover's not too difficult to make. They've niched down nicely, making £708 per month there. At number 5, I've got a bonus one for you on this one as well. This is a great one. Toilet training activity book. Look how many searches we get here for this one. I've put this in, even though this isn't green, it's moderately competitive, because you can also sub-niche down even further with this one. So for example, we could go with bedwetting. And you can see the Wetting the Bed activity book is searched for a great amount of times. It's not very competitive, but look at these monthly earnings. That sort of thing for you is fantastic. And if you can make a decent book on that, then you're going to do well. You can see here as well, there isn't that many activity books about wetting the bed, or specifically helping children to stop wetting the bed. So the actual competition is not that high, but it's obviously being searched for over 1,000 times, and the competition that we just saw was not that high. So if you were to make something more specific about an activity book about wetting the bed, you're in with a really good shot there of making some really decent money. Parents are obviously looking for wetting the bed activity books with this score. And if I, as a parent, was looking at that actual competition, there wouldn't be very much there that I'd want to get to buy for my kid. So that was toilet training and wetting the bed there. In at number 4, we've got sex education for kids. Again, this is being searched for an awful lot of the time. It's not very competitive, so you've got a good chance of getting ranked on the first page and making some good monthly earnings. Another one with this niche would be sex education for tweens. That's the age between sort of 10 years old and a teenager. That's being searched for an awful lot of the time as well, making some very good monthly earnings, not competitive. So you've got a great scope here to make a good book around sex education and activities. Some great books here, but obviously plenty of room for you to make your own ones. At number 3, we've got maths activity books. Now, if you can make a good maths activity book, you are laughing. Look at these monthly earnings for these. Getting searched for over 1,500 times on Amazon every single month. Not very competitive. Let's check them out. So they're not too difficult to do these. You could just put in some puzzles and some Sudokus and that sort of thing. So that's a good niche for you guys. £1,229 this one's making every single month. In at number 2, we've got the divorce activity book for kids. This is being searched 1,200 times every month and really not competitive at all. That's why I've placed it so high on my list, because it's got one of my lowest competitive scores. Let's have a look at the competition. So here we go. Me and My Feelings. The Feelings activity book for children. These aren't even really specifically around divorce. It's anxiety. But people are looking for these things. This one's very basic indeed, helps kids cope with divorce. I'm sure you could do something better than that one. And that's making £321 per month. If I was a parent looking for something specific to do with divorce for an activity to try and keep my child calm and so on, I don't think I'd buy any of these. So there's loads of scope there for making some really good money for you guys. And finally, in at number 1, the ADHD activity book for kids. Look how many times this is being searched for. Really not very competitive at all, and some great monthly earnings as well. Now, as a little bonus in with this one, I've niched down a bit more for you. So particularly with ADHD, they might have problem focusing. So something like a focus book for kids. Again, another great score, making a lot of money each month. And also truth activity books for kids. 494 searches, which isn't a massive amount, but it's not competitive. And look at these monthly earnings. Let's have a little look at the ADHD activity books. See what comes up. Look at these. £5,095 per month. Focus games for kids with ADHD. It could just be puzzles, could just be games, but because they've specifically niched down and targeted ADHD, and that's what the parents are looking for, that's going to come up first on the page. And that one there is making £729 a month. Daily sales of $32. So loads of ideas there for making some really good niches in the kids' activity books. I hope you found it useful. If you did, do hit the like and subscribe button. And feel free to leave a comment if you do make any of these kinds of books. I'd love to see how well you're doing. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Bye.